Happy Friday, and thank you for joining for Pilates. It's nice to have you all here. We've got 45 minutes of flow style class. We're going to start in standing, likely finish in standing as well, but we will be down on all fours at various points in the class. And so if you do think you might want a little bit of extra padding under your knees, now's a great time to grab a gardening pad, a rolled up towel, or to think about rolling up, maybe having a mat that you could roll up and put under your knees, or double up your mat that's on the ground. We can give ourselves a little extra padding as we go. Let's move at a pace that makes sense for our own bodies. We're gonna respect our fitness journey today, which may be very different from how it is on any other day because we're human and it is what it is. But let's go ahead and get moving. We'll start in standing. If you do have an extra towel or cushion, let's take it and place it off to a side where we can easily grab it later. But for now, we're gonna get those feet shoulder width apart. Heels are in line with the shoulders, toes are pointing out toward the front bottom corners of the room. And we're just gonna settle into our feet. Let's go ahead and press the big toe and the pinky toe into the floor and press your heel into the floor so we have that nice tripod base of support on either side. If you feel safe doing so, go ahead and close your eyes. Pay attention for yourself if that introduces any extra sway into the system. If you feel like you're swaying forward or back, if you feel like you're losing your balance, go ahead and open those eyes back up. Otherwise, we're gonna keep our eyes closed and we're gonna see if we can embrace that little sway and then settle ourselves down so we have our weight over our heels and we're in a nice stable support position. Let's soften up our knees, and now we can reopen our eyes. We're thinking about sending the crown of the head to the ceiling and dropping the tailbone toward the floor so we have some space between each level of our spine, between the base of the neck, the base of the head rather, and that tailbone. Let's breathe our shoulders up to our ears and then breathe them down toward our hips. And we'll repeat that a few times. Shrug and release, letting the shoulder blades slide up and down along the back of the rib cage. Take them up, slide them down. And as we reach our fingertips down toward the outer knee joint lines, we're gonna look down toward our breastbone and look up to the ceiling. Again, find a range you can move through with confidence. Maybe we get a stretch at each end range. Word, and then we'll turn that head to look toward one side wall and then the other. And we'll repeat that again, this time looking over and see if we can see the wall behind us before turning and doing the same thing to the other side. Let's look straight forward, take a big breath in, and exhale, drawing the belly back toward the spine and the spine toward the belly. So we're tightening our muscles in that forward, back, and back and forth direction, feeling that seatbelt engage right between our lowest ribs and the top of the pelvis. Keeping a little activity through those muscles, let's bring our arms up to the ceiling and turn the palms to face each other. Straighten out the elbows as best you can, and we're gonna let those shoulder blades again slide down the back side of our rib cage. We may get a stretch through the sides of the trunk, the sides of those arms. We may get a little pulling in the armpit. If you need to get some slack back into the system, feel free to bend your elbows a little bit. We'll widen out those fingertips so we're making a Y with our hands and keeping that core nice and active, belly to spine. We're gonna take some nice tall side bends toward the top side of either wall to those sides. The crown of the head and the fingertips are reaching up to where the wall and ceiling meet, and then we're gonna use our foot to drive ourselves up tall and then over to the other side. Breathe up, reaching to the ceiling, and breathe out to the side. And one more time, breathe up to the ceiling and exhale over to the other side wall. Let's bring our hands up to the ceiling. We'll open the arms out to T and then turn your palms to face the screen. Now we should still be able to see our fingertips wiggling in the peripheral vision. If you can't see that, take the hands forward a little bit further. So we're getting a little slack into the front of the body here, and the shoulders are resting in the same plane that our shoulder blades are resting. We're gonna soften our knees a little bit more, bend, taking that tailbone a little closer to the floor, and let's spin our shoulders in their sockets. Trace some circles on those side walls. We can make them small, tight circles, and maybe we speed them up a little bit, introducing a touch of unsteadiness, making our feet react. Circle 4, 3, 2, and 1, and let's take them and circle the other way. Circle 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop those shoulders down, and let's turn from our breastbone, rotating that upper body on the long axis that goes all the way from the crown of the head down toward the tailbone. Rotate and center, and rotate and center. Squeeze the blades together, and let's bring our hands back to the wall behind us, opening up the chest and getting some length through the upper portion of the arms, right from the chest to the elbows. Sweeping the arms down by our sides, we can rub out those shoulders a little bit, feel the little buildup of burn that might have developed there, and let's give our shoulders a little shake. Tip that head side to side, lengthening out the side of the neck and the top of the shoulder on the side our head moves away from. And we'll do the same thing to the other side. Bringing that head up nice and tall. Let's go ahead and bring our feet a little closer together, and the toes are going to point forward toward the screen so our feet are parallel to each other now. Let's move our weight from our heels to right in front of those ankle joints now. We're right over the back of our arch, forming a nice base, a stable base of support for us. Let's take the fingertips to the front of the waist and the thumbs to the back of the waistline. Reset belly to spine, feel the muscles tense just slightly underneath the fingertips. We want to keep some activity in there, but I want you to feel like you have the freedom to breathe. Okay, so just ensure that you're not bearing down and holding your weight there as we keep your breath there, rather, as we keep those muscles active. Let's lift up our toes, and as the toes come up, we're going to feel our inner arches lift up off the mat a little bit as well. Spread your toes apart, feel the stretch across the top of the foot. Tap the toes down, seeing if we can get one toe at a time to come down to the floor, starting with the outside of the foot and working our way inward to the big toe. Again, lift and spread and tap those toes down. If you need a little bit more information to get those toes to move independently of each other, look towards your feet. We'll do that one more time. Lift and spread and tap those toes down, keeping some distance between each toe. As we press our big toes down into the mat, we're going to soften up our knees just a little and shift forward to the toes and shift backward toward the heels, monitoring what's going on underneath your fingertips as we move. We're going to feel a little more tension, a little more activity and stiffness in those muscles as we hit our end ranges of our base. Again, shift forward. And now we take our weight right back over the front of the ankles again, and moving in a straight line from the ankles all the way up to the shoulder. Let's push our weight from side to side and feel the sides of those legs engaging from the lower leg all the way up to the outer hip. Feel those trunk muscles engaging as well to help keep those hips stable and away from those ribs as we push our weight loading one side and then the other. Let's make some circles around our base. Moving out of that ankle joint, that's our pivot point. We're tracing a circle on the ceiling with the head. Stop where you are and let's circle the other direction. Again, we'll feel those muscles kick in a little bit differently depending on what part of our feet we're loading. And then we're going to pause with our weight over the balls of the feet. Again, we can spread those toes away from each other. Feel free to look down toward the toes to do so. And as we shift far enough forward, we should hit a point where we can float our heels up off the mat without a whole lot of effort. Keep the weight forward on the balls of the feet. We're going to feel the soles of the feet engaging. We'll feel our calves engaging. And as we continue to hold here, we may even feel our thighs in back, maybe our inner thighs, maybe our rear ends engaging a little bit to hold us stable. Let's take our heels up and down. Nice controlled movement, raising and lowering those heels. We're going to be able to control that motion a heck of a lot better, regardless of how high or low we're lifting, by keeping our weight over the ball of the foot, right where the toes fold into the rest of the foot. Lower the heels, we'll shift right back over those ankles, give the legs a little shake, maybe we kick those feet out in front of us, shake out the ankles, and then we're going to widen our base again. Feet are going to stay parallel to each other, but get down, now those heels are lined up with our shoulders again. Take the pinky sides of the hands right to where the femur bones fold into the pelvis. Hold them there, we're going to fold our body around it, keeping the trunk relatively straight, same position it is when we're upright. We're going to bend from the pelvis and tip forward. Take the crown of the head toward the screen and take that tailbone, point it toward the wall behind. We're doing our best to get toward a position where our trunk is parallel to the floor and the ceiling. If we need to bend the knees to get there, that is perfectly fine. We want to get a little slack so we can get the length and the effort through our hamstrings and glutes versus feeling this in our low backs. Once we find the position where we're nice and steady, shift the weight. Again, push the weight side to side. Load one foot and load the other. Feel your hips kick in. We're going to be working our glutes a lot during class. We want to make sure those muscles, we know where they are first of all, and that we feel them engaging. Coming back over the middle of each foot, reach the fingertips toward the floor, and let's row. Squeeze the shoulder blades and then release those hands toward the mat. And we're going to repeat. Try to keep the head, neck, and trunk as still as you can as we let those blades move around the front of the body and the back of the body. Tucking the elbows in by our sides, we'll press the arms straight and reach toward the back wall. Feel the backs of the upper arms working. Bend the elbows and repeat, warming up those triceps a bit. They'll be working a decent amount for us when we're on hands and knees and in various positions with the hands on the floor. Hold those elbows straight, stretch toward the wall behind, and we'll pop ourselves up nice and tall. Let's give those shoulders a few rolls. Shake out the elbows, shake out the wrists, and let's go ahead and get ready to make our way down to the mat. Now is a good time to grab your extra cushioning if you have it. Place it in the center of the mat, or again, if you don't have anything extra, take your mat and give a little fold in the middle so we have some extra padding under those knees. We'll back up about a foot to a foot and a half from that cushion, and let's get ready to make our way down. Shifting the weight over the front of the ankles again, we'll breathe our arms up and overhead. Breathe them out to the sides, down by the body, and we take our tailbone back as we slide our fingertips down toward our ankle bones, and then bend the knees as much as our hands can come to, as we need to get our hands down to the floor. We're gonna keep the balls of the feet resting on the mat as we walk our hands forward and lower the knees down to our padding with control. Knees and hips are lined up, wrists and shoulders are lined up. I want you to give the chin a little nod toward the neck, and then keep a little bit of that nod and turn. Look toward the screen and away. You should notice freedom of movement in that neck. We should be able to turn without feeling any hang-ups. Looking back down toward the floor, we're going to squeeze our shoulder blades together behind the back, keeping the elbows straight as we can. Let your breastbone come down toward the floor, and then reverse that direction. We're going to wrap those shoulder blades around the front of the body, pressing through the hands so we feel those underarm muscles engage. Squeeze and press. Let's do 2 more here. Squeeze back, press those blades forward, and 1 more time. Squeeze them together, press them forward, and hold. Now we rock the bottom back, and then we pull our shoulders right back up over the wrists. Bottom comes back toward the heels, press through those toes, and rock right back over those knees. Let's turn the tops of the feet toward the floor, and take the feet out to the outer borders of the mat, and then cross one over the other as we come together. Toes go out, and then cross the opposite foot over. Toes to the sides, and cross. Toes to the sides, we cross 1 final time, and then bring those legs down till the lower legs are parallel to each other again. Curl the belly toward the ceiling, look toward the thighs. Here's cat. Reverse, taking the breastbone forward for cow as we bring our tailbone toward the ceiling. Curl to cat, and take it to cow, and let's move twice more through that position, moving through a range that makes sense for you. Working through a little stiffness is okay. We don't want a lot of hard pulling here though. Coming back to the middle, our shoulders stay still. We fold our hip up toward the same side shoulder, and then repeat on the other side. Wag your tail. Coming right back to center, we'll take those toes together, bring the knees toward the outer edges of the mat, and let's rock the bottom back toward the heels and lower the forearms. Slide those elbows back until they touch our inner knee joint lines, and as we shift side to side, we're going to feel those inner thighs lengthening out right up at the top of the hip, right up toward where those muscles meet our pubic bone. Coming back to center, bottom over the heels. Walk or slide your hands toward the head of the mat. And then lower that forehead down between the arms, reaching the forehead toward the floor. If you need to bend your elbows to add a little more slack into the system, that's fine. Go ahead and do so. We should feel some length through the outer borders of our blades, maybe even all the way down toward the waistline. And if we want to increase that, take a big breath in. Feel the back of the body open up. Our ribs open up away from each other. We'll feel a stretch behind the armpits. As we exhale, we walk our hands toward our screen, just beyond the border of the mat. Breathe here. Breathing out, we walk those hands to the other side. Again, take a nice big breath in. Exhaling, walk the hands forward and drop those forearms. Shift the weight over the elbows. Wrists are in front of us, lined up with our eyes. Elbows and shoulders are lined up. And we're going to take our knees and slide them back. If you have padding under your knees, take it off to the side or the head of the mat. And let's lengthen our legs back behind us and rest the upper thighs on the floor. Send that breastbone up and forward. We're going to get a little bit of length through that chest, dropping the shoulders away from the ears. Keeping the elbows in by the sides, let's see if we can lower our body down just a little. That chest does not have to touch the floor, but we're going to bring our forehead up till it's a couple inches off the mat. We're pressing firmly through our hands. Let's bend our knees. See if you can get some stretch through the front of the thighs. Press those legs straight, and we're going to press through the forearms, lifting that breastbone up a touch. Bending the elbows, we'll lower down with control toward the forearms and bend the knees. Picture a rocking horse. Rock the heels toward the bottom, straighten the legs out, and gently press up with that breastbone. One more time, upper body controls down, bend the knees, heel to bottom, straighten those legs out, and we'll press up to the forearms again. Take those elbows forward just a little bit more, and let's draw the belly and spine toward each other. We can pop up a little bit closer to the center of our thighs versus being resting right up by our hips. Holding here, let's squeeze our blades together just like we did on all fours, and then we reverse that. We press the blades forward, opening up and using those armpit muscles. Squeeze and press. 2 more times. Squeeze and press, and last time, squeeze those blades, press them forward, and we're going to turn our bodies toward our screen. Take the far arm, tuck it underneath the body, and turn to our backs. Bending at the knees, we'll let our arms rest by the body. Let's turn our head side to side toward the screen and away. Rolling to one side and then rolling to the other, feeling the neck and the chest open up on the side we're looking away from. As we look toward the ceiling, we're going to flip our palms to face the ceiling, so the backs of the thumbs spin to the floor. Open the arms out to the side, just a touch, maybe 45 degrees away from center. And again, let's turn the head toward the screen and away. This time thinking about lowering our shoulder blades toward the mat. Feeling that chest open up a little bit as we look side to side. Looking back to the ceiling, we're going to bring our fingertips to the points in the front of our pelvis, and we're going to picture our clock face on that pelvic area. So 12 o'clock is up north of the belly button, 6 is down by the pubic bone, 3 o'clock is the point on the far side of the pelvis, 9 o'clock is the point on the side of the pelvis closest to our screen. Breathe it in and exhale, belly to spine. Let's curl the pelvis toward 12 o'clock, pubic bone just toward breastbone, north of the belly button, flatten the low back into the mat. 12 o'clock. Reverse it, tailbone toward the heels for 6, lengthening the pubic bone away from that rib cage. Curl it to 12 and lengthen to 6. Curl it to 12, hold that curl, and we're going to lift our hips up off the mat and see if we can lengthen up toward bridge. Partial range, stretching the knees toward the wall in front. Let's lower down and release at the bottom. Take those glutes and give them a rest. Now we're going to turn our attention to what where our fingertips are. We're going to rock toward the far fingers, far hip. That hip comes down as our hip closest to the screen lifts up off the mat. There's 3 o'clock. Roll through center. Take the near hip down as our far side lifts up toward the ceiling. There's 9. Rock it to 3. Roll it through to 9. One more time. Rock that pelvis to 3 o'clock, lifting the hip on the screen, side up. Rotate through, lifting the far hip up. There's 9 o'clock, and we come right back to center. Big breath in. As we exhale, we reset belly to spine. We give our chin a little nod, and let's bring our arms up toward the ceiling. Taking the knees together and the feet together. We're going to keep our shoulders resting on the floor and rock those knees toward the screen and toward the far wall. We're only going far as we can, keeping our shoulders on the mat, getting some length and opening up through the trunk on the side we're moving the body away from. Bring our knees back to the ceiling, walk the heels slightly apart from each other, and let's reach our blades up to the ceiling and down to the mat. Reach them up, float them down. 2 more, reach them up, float them down, and last time, reach those blades up, float them down to the mat, and let's bring one knee up to 90 degrees and take the other knee up to meet it in tabletop. Rotate those ankles in circles. We'll rotate them the other way, and let's think about taking our lowest ribs down toward the floor. So we're flattening the body slightly into the mat. Pointing the toes toward the wall in front of us. Let's take our hands to the front of our thighs. Release the shoulders away from the ears and press the hands and thighs toward each other. Take a big breath in, and as we exhale, we keep that trunk active. Press through the hands and lift and lower our toes to the ceiling. Straightening the knees and then bending right back to tabletop. Straighten them up and bend, and one more time. Straighten them up, feet to the ceiling. Bend those knees back to tabletop. We're going to take the far knee and draw it into the chest. The leg closest to the screen straightens out. Lower those toes down the wall in front, taking the heel down to its hovered position. Nod to look toward your kneecap on that pulled in side. Resetting belly to spine, we're going to lengthen those toes away from the center of the body as much as possible and draw a circle on the wall in front with that leg, moving out of the hip. Pause, and we'll circle the other way. 4, circle, 3, 2, 1. Take it back to center and move that leg from side to side. Keep everything above that hip joint still as possible. 2 more. Out to the side, right back to the center of the mat. Stretching toward the wall in front. And let's switch legs. Pull to the chest. Lengthen that opposite leg forward, and we'll stretch it down the wall till the heels hover barely up off the mat. Big breath in and reset belly to spine. Circle that lifted leg on the wall in front. There's 4, 3, 2, 1, and we'll switch it to take it the other direction. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take it side to side for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's lengthen those toes forward. Switch sides and press that straight leg out to hover. Switch and press. Switch and press. Switch and press. Switch and press. Keep that far knee drawn into the body. Lengthen that straight leg all the way down to the mat. And we'll pull the bent knee across the body, opening up the outer hip. Give it a wiggle. Get a little mobility to that low back while we're at it. And then coming back to center, we'll hang on behind our lifted thigh. Kick the thigh into the hands. Widen out those collarbones, so keep the shoulders away from the ears, and we're going to lengthen our toes up toward the ceiling. Find the first point of stretch behind the thighs, and then give that ankle a wiggle. Point the toes toward the ceiling. Draw belly to spine, and we'll hover that supporting leg up off the mat. Hold it there. See if you can keep that leg hovered off the floor, and take the hands to the floor as well. Lower and lift that hovered leg. Touch the mat. Lift up slightly, lower and lift, lower and lift, and lower that foot to the mat as we take our lifted leg out to each side wall. We can cross midline if you can keep the bones in the back of the pelvis nice and steady on the mat. 2 more times. Don't be afraid to push your arms into the floor for a little more stability. Cross the body, and then let's stir our hip in its socket. Take some circles on the ceiling. Again, we can feel free to bend the knee if we need a little more slack in the system to keep everything out of the low back. Pause and we'll circle the other way. Circle 4, 3, 2 more. Breathe in at the top and take that knee into the chest. As we hug it in, we're going to think about actively relaxing the front of that hip before drawing the knee out to one side and over to the other. Let's repeat it. Take it out to the side. Take it across the body and come right back to center. Big breath in, switching on the exhale. Pull and slide. As we lengthen that leg out, we'll hold. Keep that knee nice and straight. Hang on to the lifted thigh right behind the thigh. And we'll lift those toes up to the ceiling until we find our hamstring stretch point. It's okay if it's different on both sides. We'll wiggle through our ankle. Feel that length through the back side of that lower leg as well. Draw the belly to the spine and hover that supporting leg off the mat. Keep that core engaged. Keep the hover if we can, and take the hands to the floor. Lower the heel, lift it up. Lower the heel and lift. We're doing our best to keep that upper body still as we lower and lift our heel. We'll take that foot to the floor and take the lifted leg out from side to side. Moving again across midline if we can keep the pelvis nice and still while doing so. Bend the knee as needed to introduce a touch of slack. And one more time, take it out to the screen, up and over toward the far wall, and then we'll sweep through our circles. There's 4, 3, 2, and breathe in at the top. Exhaling, we'll take it the other way. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hang on to that knee, draw it into the body again, releasing the front of the hip, and we'll rock that knee from side to side, away from and across the body. Coming back to center, let's pull both knees into the chest. As we hug them in toward the body, feel that lower part of our low back opening up toward the mat. Give a little side to side rock and come right back to center, grabbing the knees and guiding them up to tabletop again. Stick our arms down by our sides. We're going to stretch the toes to the ceiling, straightening out the knees as best we can. Let's open the feet to the side walls to V, and then lengthen down the wall as we breathe out. Inhale, feet together. Exhale, open to V. Inhale, feet together. Exhale and open. Inhale, feet together. One more time. Exhale, open those feet. Flex the feet, bend the knees, drawing the heels together for frog. Exhale, press forward, taking the knees together as we reach the heels toward where the wall and ceiling meet. Inhale to frog and exhale, press. Inhale to frog, exhale, press. And inhale to frog, draw the knees together, give them a hug into the body and rock side to side. Big breath in, and we breathe right back to center, guiding those kneecaps right back up toward tabletop. Lift those shins up to parallel, holding here, and the arms float to the ceiling. Let's flex our feet. Let's see if we can take our heels down to the mat. We can move them together, keeping the trunk nice and still, and then inhale them up to tabletop again. Exhale, lower the heels. Inhale to tabletop. If 2 at a time is too much, alternate your feet. If we want to take it further, lower the heels, taking the arms back overhead at the same time. Inhale to the ceiling. Exhale, open those arms overhead. Inhale to the ceiling. Slide the arms down by the body and point the toes. We'll stretch the feet up and glue those ankles and knees together. Let's circle both legs on the ceiling. We're going to trace a circle on the ceiling with feet moving simultaneously. Hip joints are where that motion is occurring. We're doing our best to keep our trunk nice and still. Pause at the top to breathe, and exhale, we take that corkscrew the other direction. 4, 3, can we float our hands up for the last 2? Last one, we sweep up to the ceiling, take a big breath in. Exhale to tabletop, and let's take our heels down to the mat, lining them up with our sit bones. Float the arms down by the sides, and we'll rock our knees away from the screen, toward the screen, and repeat that one more time. Rock away from the screen, rock toward it, and bring those knees right back up to the ceiling. Big breath in, exhale, belly to spine. Squeeze those glutes, press through the feet, and we'll lift those hips up toward the ceiling. Lengthen your knees toward the wall in front. Imagine there's little magnets on those kneecaps being drawn toward that wall. Keep that length as we take our hips down toward our heels. Tap the glutes to the mat, squeeze and lift up again toward bridge. Lower and tap, squeeze and lift. Can we keep the chin nice and still as we lower and lift? One more time, hips come down. Squeeze them, lift them up, and press those arms firmly into the mat. Let's take one knee at a time out toward each side wall. Keeping the pelvis nice and still, moving from our hips. 2 more. Last one. Knees come back to the center, squeeze the hips and pulse them up for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Big breath in at the top and exhale, let's lengthen down. Release those glutes at the bottom and rock the knees toward the screen, toward the far wall, and right back to center. Breathe them in again, exhale, belly to spine, squeeze and lift those hips. And we're gonna find again the height of the motion. If you are a little tight in front, we may not get those hips all the way extended. If you have a little more leeway in the front of the hips, we're gonna do our best to get our knees, our hips, and our shoulders in line, but I don't want you to push that far at the expense of your back. If your back is sore, take it down just to the point of feeling your hips working. All right, we are gonna press through our far heel and lift the opposite knee up toward a march. Take it up toward the body. Doing our best to keep the pelvis at the same position, whether both feet are on the ground or whether one leg is lifted. March 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take that foot down. We'll press through our heels. Lift up those hips for a big breath in. And exhale, lengthening the hips all the way down to the heels. Release the glutes at the bottom. Rock those knees toward the screen and toward the far wall. We'll come right back to center. Let's cross the ankle on the screen side up and over the opposite knee, and then let that knee come out to the side. Just find its natural stopping point. Hold it there. Open the arms out till they're about 45 degrees away from the body, and then let's rock away from our crossed over leg. Rock and then rock away and then pull back toward that side. Little back mobility here. Make it a little hip stretch. And if we have a little more give, we can lift that opposite foot up off the mat. And again, rock away from and then toward that crossover side, using the hands for a little counterbalance. Rock and rock away. Come back to center and let's switch legs. Bring that foot down, cross the ankle to the other knee. Let that knee come out to its first natural stopping point. With the arms out at that 45-degree angle, rock away from the crossed over side and then rock toward it. And we'll repeat. Rock away and toward. Rock away. Rock toward it. Let's come right back to center. Lifting up if we have a little more slack. Again, we'll rock away from the crossover and right back toward it. And repeat. Rock away and toward. And last time, rock away and rock back to center. Let's uncross those legs. Give the knees a hug into the chest. We'll take our feet to the floor. and turn over toward hands and knees. Grab that extra cushion again, center of the mat, and our shins go right to it. We're gonna line up with the square from wrists to shoulders to hips to knees. Let's give that tail a wag. We'll take it side to side, come back to center, curl the cat, and take it to cow. Now that we're eased into our new position, turn those toes under, press the balls of the feet into the floor. Press through the heels of the hands, shoulder blades come forward, and we're gonna press through our toes and see if we can unweight our knees. Feel the lower half of the body working here. Gently lower the knees down to the padding and then press them right back up. Lower them down, press them up. Knees come down, press them up. Knees come down, hold them there and turn the tops of the feet toward the floor. We'll lengthen that leg closest to the screen, back behind the body. Squeeze that hip and lift the foot up off the mat, keeping that glute nice and active. Stretch your opposite arm forward if you can. Reach toward the wall in front, and we're gonna hold here. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switch sides. Lengthen, squeeze that rear end, lifting the leg up, and the opposite arm reaches forward. Hold 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switch it up again. Lengthen and reach. Hold 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switch it up one more time. Lengthen back and reach. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take the hand down, flex up that foot. We're going to put the toes down the mat. Squeeze those blades together behind the body, press them toward the floor, and leave them there as we rise up to plank. We're going to hold here, lower your knees, barely touch them down, and then come right back to plank. Lower the knees, take it up to plank. Hold 3, hold 2, and hold 1. Knees come right back down underneath the hips, curl the cat, take it to cow, and come right back to center. Squeeze the blades behind the back, press them toward the floor, and then we're going to tap the far hand right to the shoulder closest to the screen. Bring that hand down, we'll switch to the other side, and let's alternate. If we want to feel our trunk a little more, take your pinkies out to the outer edges of your mat. We're going to feel those waistline muscles working a little bit more. Tap 4, tap 3, tap 2, tap 1. Hands come down right underneath the shoulders. And now we lengthen that leg closest to the screen back. Press through the heels of the hands and take that leg out to the side. Press your foot into the floor, and we're going to lengthen our inner thigh down. So we're dropping the hip on that straight leg side a little closer to the mat. Hold it here. Rock that bottom back and forth. Move in a range that keeps your knees happy. So if your knees don't like a lot of bend, you don't have to rock back quite as much. We're going for that inner thigh length, which we can also get just by holding position. Take that leg back, we'll draw it into the other side, breathe it in. Exhaling, the opposite leg comes back. Arc it to the side wall and press that foot into the floor. Lengthen your inner thigh down as well, dropping the hip on the far side. We can hold here, or we can rock that bottom back in a range that works for you. 4, rock 3, there's 2, and 1. Slide that leg back, draw it into center, curl up to cat, take it to cow, and come right back to the middle. We're going to curl ourselves up into a tall kneeling position. So we're going to squeeze those glutes. Take your hips slightly forward. We're going to try to get as upright as we can. The tighter your thighs are, or the more limitations that you feel you have in the front of your thighs, the more that bottom's going to tend to go back. We're just doing our best to fight it. We may not be able to correct everything. That's okay. We're going to take our far hand to the belly button, our hand closest to the screen, right back to the small of the back. Breathe it in and exhale those points together. So we should feel our muscles engaging between our hands. We're going to keep those muscles active as we lean back. Feel those thighs engaging, and then we come up nice and tall over those knees. Breathe out, rock it back, and come up tall. Again, rock that body back, come up tall, and one more time, rock it back. Come up tall, trunk over the knees. We'll hinge from our hips. Take those hands down to the mat, and take our toes together and our knees apart. Let's rock the bottom back down to the heels and slide the hands toward the head of the mat. As we inch the hands forward, we're going to lower that forehead down. Breathe in here and exhale, wrapping those shoulder blades around the front of the body. Let's walk our hands all the way over to one side. Pause, hand over hand. Take a breath. Exhaling, walk them all the way to the other side. Again, let's pause here, hand over hand, breathe in. Breathing out, we walk them right back to center. Slide that head down toward the floor, take a breath. Exhaling, we bend our elbows, drop to the forearms, and shift the weight over those elbows. We're gonna take that padding out from under our knees, slide the legs back behind us, just like we did during our warm-up, and lengthen the hips toward the mat. Squeeze those blades together, press them toward the mat, and drop belly and spine toward each other as we kick one heel into the bottom. Give it a single, controlled push toward the bottom, or we can kick twice. 2 quick kicks, doing our best to keep the curves in the low back nice and steady. Kick 4 and 3, last 2 and 1. Lengthen those legs up, big breath in, exhaling. We're gonna go ahead and take a seat on our mat facing lengthwise. Get the weight settled over the front of those sit bones, and we'll bring our feet out to the edges of our mat, lengthening out until we feel a stretch through our thighs. If your hamstrings are tending to be really tight, those knees will probably be a little bit more bent than if the hamstrings tend to feel fairly relaxed and flexible. The trunk is nice and vertical. We're gonna bring our fingertips forward to shoulder level, line them up with the feet, and let's hinge from the hips. Lean forward from the hips, keeping that trunk nice and still. Same position, just different orientation. Breathe back up to vertical and exhale, hinge forward. Feel the length through those thighs. Breathe up nice and tall, exhale, hinge forward. Inhale up tall, we'll bring our feet together, shake the knees out. Let's bend up our knees and take the hands back behind the body. We're gonna straighten our elbows and squeeze those blades as we lean back to the heels of the hands. Open up that chest toward the top of the wall in front of us. And let's inch those bottoms forward toward our heels till we feel a chest stretch and a little bit of opening through the front of those upper arms. As we bring our heels back toward the bottom, we'll lean back to the heels of the hands. And if you have any more slack to take up, press through your heels and see if you can lift your hips up. You might still have a little bend in the hips. Maybe we can take it up to that reverse tabletop position, lining our hips up as best we can with our shoulders and knees. Hold it, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower the hips. Turn and face that screen. Shake your wrists out. We're gonna sit up cross-legged if you can. Try to get the weight over the front of the sit bones. If hip rotation is not working for you, feet come forward. We can let those knees come out to the side as that feels comfortable. But the main thing is we want our trunk stacked over the pelvis versus leaning back. With the arms out to the sides, we're gonna stretch our fingertips outward. Keep the core engaged, draw belly to spine, and let's tip the trunk, touching the pinkies to the mat. Inhale up, exhale, side bend. Touch the pinky on the other side of the floor. Inhale up and exhale, side bend. Last time up, inhale, side bend, and bring ourselves back up to vertical. Take the hands down, give the shoulders a shrug, and we'll make our way down onto our side. Resting on the bottom arm, we take our knees forward and the heels are lined up with the butt. We take our hand underneath of the waistline and lift up just a little bit. We want to be able to slide our hand underneath. Top hand comes to the hip, and we'll take our top knee up and down. Moving from the hip joint, trying to keep that trunk stacked and the pelvis nice and still. Knee comes down, let's move to hydrants. Lift 3, lift 2, lift 1. Take it back to hip height. Take your top hand to the mat. We're going to slide the bottom leg out straight and take the toes to the bottom leg. Top knee comes up and down. Press it up. Here's 2 and 1. Forward to hip height with that top knee. Lift the foot up to meet the knee. Hydrants. 3. Lift 2. Lift 1. Take that leg back to hip height. Stretch the knee straight, reaching the toes to the screen. Swing the leg back. Swing it forward. Swing it back 2 more times. Swing, press back 1 more time. Swing forward and press back. Circle the top leg forward. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Circle it the other way. 3, 2, and 1. Pulse it up. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Keep that top leg where it is, just above hip level. Tighten up that bottom knee and we'll reach our toes up and down. There's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Leg comes down, bend those knees up. Give your hip a little pat. And let's take ourselves up and over to the other side. Right, resting on that bottom arm again, we'll take our knees forward and the heels back. Lift that waistline up and take the hand to that top hip. Let's press our top knee up and down. Press 3. Press 2. Press 1. Knee comes down, lift to hydrants. 4. Here's 3. Here's 2. Here's 1. Back to hip height. Top hand comes down. We straighten out our bottom leg. Take the toes to that bottom leg and take the knee down and up. 4. Again. 3. 2. And 1. Knee stay still. Lift the foot. Hydrants again. There's 4. 3. 2. And 1. Back to hip height. Stretch that knee straight. Reach the toes forward. Swing them back. Swing them forward and back. 2 more. Swing and press. Last 1. Swing forward. Swing back. Circle that top leg forward. Moving from the hip. 2 and 1. Circle backward. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pulse up. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and hold just above hip height. Tighten up that bottom thigh. Lift those toes up and down. There's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take those feet down. Bend the knees up. Give your hip a pat. And let's turn onto our backs. As we bend our knees up and line our heels up with our sit bones, we're going to drop our fingertips down toward the body and stretch them forward toward our heels. Breathe the shoulders to the ears, shrug them up, and then drop them down toward the hips. Turn your head toward the screen and toward the far wall. We'll look straight ahead and rock the knees away from the screen and toward it. Again, rock away and rock toward. Coming back to center, cross an ankle over that other knee. And we'll lift. Find that figure 4 position, rock away from and toward that crossed over leg. Little length through the hip. And come on back to center before switching it up. All right, opposite side, ankle to knee. Lift it up if you can. Find that figure 4 and rock. Keep your breath going. We'll come back to center, unwind those knees and give them a hug into the body, opening up that low back. Let's take our feet to the floor. We'll turn toward our screen and then make our way to hands and knees. If you want your padding, go ahead and grab it now. Place it under the tops of the shins. We'll curl through cat. Take it to cow and come back to neutral. One more time, curl it up to cat. Take it through to cow and come right back to neutral. And give that tail a side to side wag, keeping the upper body still. Coming back to center, we'll turn our toes under, press the bottom toward the heels, and walk the hands back toward the legs. Once we're transferred our weight over to our feet, we wait till we're at the front of the ankle joints before coming up tall. All right, let's go ahead and make our way to the center of our mat. Let's get those feet sit bone width apart, toes facing forward, and we'll settle into the weight over the front of our ankle joints. Fingertips come to the waistline, take a big breath in, and exhale, belly to spine, feeling the muscles engage underneath the fingers. Inhale, exhale. Let's turn our head from side to side. We'll look forward and shift the weight to one foot. If you need a little support, you're welcome to go to a wall. Fingertips to the wall. We're going to bring ourselves up to single leg balance. Hold it here. Again, we could turn our head or look to each side with our eyes if you want to make this more challenging. Look forward and let's step to the other side. Shift that weight. Again, if you need something steady to hold on to, find a stable surface. We'll find our single leg balance. And if you want to add a head turn or look with the eyes to the sides, now's a great time. Let's look forward, take our feet down, shoulder width apart, shake the wrists out, roll those shoulders back and down, give the knees a shake, and we'll settle down to our heels. Inhale, arms up and overhead, exhale them down. As the feet come together, we'll again bring our arms out, up and overhead. Look to the fingertips and let's place those palms together and we'll breathe everything into center. Great work. Thanks for being here and have a great weekend.
Thank you.